Hello everyone, welcome to the 5-Minute Discovery channel. Did you know that in this vast world, there are strange and fascinating countries that you may have never heard of? One of them is Nauru, an island nation with an unexpected economy and development. Nauru has gone through a period of prosperity and then declined, becoming one of the poorest countries in the world. Moreover, the people here have a unique lifestyle, with the highest obesity rate in the world. Let's explore the interesting and mysterious things about the island nation of Nauru in today's video, and you will be surprised by the surprising stories of this place. Before going into the content, remember to like and subscribe to support the channel. Overview. The tiny but fascinating island nation of northeast Papua New Guinea. Nauru, a tiny island nation in northeast Papua New Guinea, is only 21 square kilometers in size, a modest but intriguing figure. Although the island is not remarkable in size, its first inhabitants arrived some 3,000 years ago. The name, Nauru, means, "I go to the beach," reflecting its deep connection to the sea. In the 19th century, Nauru began to interact with Europeans through whaling ships. However, the remote and small island did not attract immediate attention. By the end of the 19th century, with its supply of fresh water and essential goods, Nauru was annexed by European powers and became a German colony, then a British colony. In 1966, Nauru gained autonomy and became an independent nation in 1968. The geographical features of Nauru are that it rises abruptly from the ocean, has no harbor or protected anchorage, and is surrounded by only a narrow fertile belt. With a coral plateau only 30 meters above sea level, reaching 65 meters at its highest point, Nauru has a wild and lonely beauty in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. Nauru is characterized by coral cliffs and low plateaus, with an elevation of only about 30 meters above sea level, reaching 65 meters at its highest point. The soil here is quite porous and infertile, and the irregular rainfall makes farming difficult. Although phosphate minerals were once a major source of income, mining has devastated 80% of the island, leaving only 20% habitable. Nauru is not an ideal destination for agriculture, but it is a favorite stopover for migratory birds. There are no native mammals. All the mammals present were introduced from elsewhere. The land is loose and infertile, and rainfall is irregular, making farming difficult. Phosphate is the island's specialty mineral, but mining has destroyed 80% of the land, leaving only 20% habitable. The main crops of coconuts, pandanus, bananas, and some vegetables are not enough to meet the needs of the people. Although Nauru is not an ideal stopover for humans, it is an ideal place for migratory birds. There are no native mammals. All the mammals present were introduced from elsewhere. Exploring Nauru is an interesting journey through the stories of life and survival in a special environment. Population. Nauru, despite being a small island nation, has a unique and diverse population. Most of the inhabitants are indigenous Nauru people, along with small groups of Australians, New Zealanders, and Chinese. The official language is Oru, but English is also widely spoken. Nauru is known as one of the most westernized nations in the South Pacific. Currently, Nauru has a population of just over 10,000 people, spread across 14 different prefectures. Interestingly, Nauru has no official capital, making it one of the few places in the world without a capital city. Interestingly, Nauru was once one of the richest nations in the world due to its phosphate deposits, but quickly became one of the poorest after its reserves were depleted. This dramatic change is part of Nauru's surprising story. A remarkable story of Nauru is its transformation from one of the richest countries in the world to one of the poorest. Having reached the heights of prosperity thanks to its phosphate deposits, Nauru saw a dramatic change when the resource was depleted, leading to a sharp economic decline. The story of Nauru is not only a lesson in change, but also a testament to the strength and challenges of a small but resilient nation. Economically. After 1980, Nauru was the world's wealthiest country. But since 2017, the tiny island nation has regularly appeared on lists of the poorest countries on the planet. Nauru's history is a colorful one, with surprising ups and downs. Nauru's incredible wealth stems from the mining of phosphate, a vital mineral resource. During the 1970s and 1980s, phosphate prices soared, making Nauru one of the richest countries in the world. By 1975, Nauru's GDP per capita had reached $50,000, a global top earnings level at the time. This booming prosperity created a vibrant economy, with people buying cars, building luxury homes, and the government investing in grandiose projects like impressive hotels and even its own airline to import goods from the West. However, dreams of prosperity were short-lived. Overexploitation gradually depleted the phosphate reserves, and Nauru's economy began to collapse. The government fell into debt, spending more than it earned. By the late 1990s, the country was in dire straits, and the situation became more serious as it faced a financial crisis. To save the situation, Nauru introduced preferential tax policies to attract foreign investment and even sold passports to others. However, the financial crisis deepened, and the country fell into bankruptcy. By the early 2000s, when its phosphate reserves had run out, Nauru had no other way to sustain its economy, and was struggling to pay its debts and bills. Nauru's story is a stark illustration of the dramatic shift from prosperity to ruin, and a lesson in resource management and economic strategy. Let's take a closer look at this dramatic journey and the lessons this small island nation has to offer. Obese. The history of Nauru is not only a story of prosperity and decline, but also a painful lesson in public health. The small island nation's sudden wealth has led to one of the highest obesity rates in the world, a record that no other country has yet broken. The cause of this situation stems from the overconsumption of fast and processed Western foods, a habit that increased since the 1970s, when Nauru was at the height of its prosperity. Before independence, Nauru people lived mainly on vegetables, fish, melons, and fruits. But after independence and the huge profits from phosphate mining, Nauru's per capita income skyrocketed, leading to a sedentary lifestyle and unhealthy food consumption. In 2018, the World Health Organization recorded that nearly 94.5% of Nauru's population was obese. The main cause is the overconsumption of Western fast food, a habit that began in the 1970s when Nauru was at the height of its prosperity. Before independence, Nauru people lived mainly on vegetables, fish, and fruit. But when income from phosphates skyrocketed, they began to live a sedentary lifestyle, with little motivation to work, and unhealthy eating. Wealth does not always bring happiness, and Nauru is a clear example of that. Although they are no longer among the countries with the highest per capita income, Nauru people still face serious consequences of their former luxury lifestyle. Limited land unsuitable for agriculture has forced them to rely on imported food, much of it processed, high in fat and sugar. This has led to increasingly poor health. Being overweight in Nauru is not just a health problem, but also a sign of wealth. With obesity rates high, diabetes is also at an alarming rate. The Nauru government is trying to encourage people to be more active. Even the airport, which was once a tourist attraction, is now a pedestrian zone for residents. Newspaper articles from Nauru's heyday describe a life of luxury where US dollars are used like toilet paper and parties are the norm. The extravagance and mismanagement have led to a costly lesson for Nauru. It is true that wealth, if not managed and used properly, can quickly turn into crisis. Nauru has gone through a journey from extreme prosperity to extreme poverty, and their story is a powerful testament to the importance of managing finances and health. This wealth, if not managed properly, has led to a costly lesson that Nauru has had to learn. Nauru's story is a clear example of how prosperity without planning and sustainable financial management can quickly turn into crisis. Current economy. Nauru's current economy paints a challenging picture. In 2019, the island nation's GDP was just $118.2 million, or around £94 million. That's not enough for major football clubs to spend on players in a summer transfer window. To combat its financial woes, Nauru has adopted a unique strategy. It makes money by recognizing certain breakaway states or disputed territories. For example, in 2019, Nauru recognized several Russian-backed breakaway regions in exchange for $50 million in Russian aid. This was a rather unexpected and unorthodox move for many countries, suggesting that Nauru is looking for creative financial solutions to survive in a difficult economic climate. No military. Indeed, the information about Nauru is quite surprising. This small island nation is one of the rare countries without its own army. Instead, Australia takes responsibility for Nauru's defense under an informal agreement between the two countries. Although it has no army, Nauru maintains a police force to ensure internal security. Interestingly, Nauru is also among the least visited countries in the world. With 80% of the island's area mined for phosphate, this island no longer has the idyllic beaches that many people imagine. Each year, only about 200 tourists visit, and in some years the number is so small that it cannot be counted. Finally, in early 2022, Nauru was the only country that did not record any cases of COVID-19, thanks to its almost complete isolation from the outside world. That is the story of the island nation of Nauru. Thanks for watching. If you find it interesting, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, turn on the notification bell and share. Goodbye and see you again.